And welcome to the Pakistan Pavilion at the World Economic Forum, Davos 2024. I humbly invite all of you to settle down. We have a great list of panelists over here, brilliant speakers under the panel of KCFR. I also thank the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce, SACC. We welcome Dr. Urs Lustenberger, the president of SACC. I'm Haya, Sehgal, the moderator for today, the author of Resilient Pakistan and the book Earth and Glimmer. I am going to introduce the panelists and I will give you a slight brief on them, but they would be speaking as far as the theme of today's topic is concerned, which is inspirational and inspiring Pakistan, and what do they get out of these words, and how do we as Pakistanis contribute towards our wonderful country. A little note for all of you to know: the Pakistan Pavilion is going to be celebrating this year its 20th anniversary at the World Economic Forum.
Thank you very much for the honor to say a few words to this elect group of people. It's been a long time that we have been hosts of Ikram and his Pathfinder group, and we have always enjoyed his hospitality very much. When I heard that Ikram is celebrating his 20th anniversary up here, I was trying to figure out when did the SACC join up with him. And I think we joined up with him just very shortly after he started to come here. I remember the legendary breakfasts in the Steigenberger, where he introduced all sorts of prime ministers, senators, politicians, generals to us over the years, and we always admired his energy, his love for Pakistan, his devotion for the cause. And as we see it today, again, he is the most gracious host. He stays in the background, insists that I say the big welcome, even though he is the host. And I do the big welcome, but the welcome means a thousand words of thanks to Ikram and his devotion to his beautiful country that is facing challenges. We all know that Pakistan is facing a lot of challenges, but these challenges have to be overcome because in itself, Pakistan has all the resources needed. It has the population, the humanity needed to make it across all these hurdles, and it has the natural resources, the energy, and whatever is needed to make a rich country out of it. And over time, I am convinced Pakistan will be able to cross all the hurdles that are necessary to be crossed to make it one of the most prosperous, most, how do I say that, future-looking countries. And when I see the group companies that Pathfinder has arranged under itself, then I know that Ikram sees the future of Pakistan in electronics, in digitalizing, etc., etc. I'm always amazed at his entrepreneurship and his spirit. So with this, I would like to hand over the word back, say 1,000 thanks, and enjoy the lunch.
Very honorable Ikram Sehgal, the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank VRG and the Pathfinders for inviting and speaking to this August gathering. As the name goes, Pakistan is inspiring. A land of highest mountain peaks in the world, a home of Himalayans, Karakoram and Hindu Kush, with a coastline of thousands of miles of clean, pure and pristine water, Pakistan is inspiring. With lush green valleys, deserts, a population of 240 million, hardworking, intelligent, and brave people, Pakistan is inspiring. With a history of over 4,000 years, relics of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, home of Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Jains, Sikhs. With its diverse culture and civilization, with more than 20 languages, Pakistan is inspiring. With more than 500 universities, 7th nuclear power in the world, one of the largest armies to defend its frontiers, and above all, 12 million diaspora spread over Europe, America, Middle East, Far East, Australia, and Africa, contributing to the world economy, giving the message of compassion, love, and sharing. Pakistan is rising. I'm happy to see Mr. Tariq Malik, former leader of the Nadara. Learning from people like him, we developed a national socio-economic registry, a database that covers socio-economic indicators for over 35 million households. Within the folds of Benazir Income Support Program, there is Benazir Kafalat, which supports 9.3 million families with quarterly cash grants. Through Benazir Scholarship Program, we extend educational stipends to more than 8 million students from beneficiary households. Promoting education, we all know, is the best option. This program ensures that every Pakistani child has equal access to quality education, opening doors to a brighter future and improved livelihoods. The Benazir Nashwa Nama initiative, you will be happy to know, is a critical intervention aimed at addressing malnutrition, benefiting more than 1 million pregnant mothers and their newborn children. You will be amazed to know that the program started 22 years ago with merely $100, which were given to a poor widow to start her business. Just $100. She purchased 2 sewing machines, and only after 6 months, with a smiling face, she returned those $100, saying that don't put this money back in your pocket, give it to some other. Men and women, I'm sure this interest-free money, which is the manifestation of love and care, will also make his or her life. So starting from just $100, today we have been able to, alhamdulillah, distribute more than 1,000 million US dollars among 4 million families. These 4 million families are 24 million people. They were not beggars. Never they sacrificed their self-respect. They took loans. And for the first time, all these loans were interest-free, benevolent loans. And you will be amazed to know how great the people of Pakistan are, that the recovery percentage of these non-collateralized loans is more than 99.9%. So not only the people who have more resources came forward, embraced the underprivileged, and instead of making them beggars, offered loans to start business and become entrepreneur, and they took advantage of their entrepreneurial abilities, utilized that amount, and contributed for the economy of Pakistan. I must appreciate and acknowledge the efforts of Ikram Sehgal Saab for telling you about the inspiring story of Pakistan since last 20 years. If you allow me to say a verse in Urdu, I'm sure Ikram Sehgal Saab will later translate it into English. तामीर तश्कील फ़न में जो भी हफीज़ का हिस्सा है, निस्फ सदी का किस्सा है, 2-4 बरस की बात नहीं. How brilliantly, diligently, selflessly he has served his country, that's amazing. It's another dimension of inspiring Pakistan that we have Ikram Sehgal and many other people who love to follow his footsteps, and we all get inspiration from him. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm a British Pakistani, so I'll bring another perspective. The Pakistani diaspora, not many of you might be familiar, is the 4th largest diaspora in the world right now. In 153 countries, we are 12 million people, and we are creating stories. Incredible stories, uplifting stories. I joined you from London, and from London, I bring you some stories. You might be familiar, London's mayor, the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is Pakistani origin, who is going to be the mayor of London 3rd time continuously in the next 2 months. His father was a bus driver, and Sadiq Khan rose to become the mayor of London, and we hope to see him sometime soon in the 10 Downing Street as a British Pakistani origin Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Not only him, there are 25 MPs, Lords, members of the Parliament of Pakistani origin, more than 500 councillors of the Pakistani origin from the United Kingdom. In the UK's top 10 billionaires, we have Pakistanis, British Pakistanis. We have Sir Anwar Pervez, who was a bus driver and at the same time founder of the Best Way Group. And he makes to the Sunday Times UK's top 10 billionaires. This is what we are. On the 26th of March, the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, declared the national emergency and the lockdown. So, we are facing a situation we are unaware. We don't know what's going on. And there's a national lockdown. Everyone stays at home under the orders of the Parliament. And after 1 week time, I pick up the Mirror newspaper in which there's a British nurse who is crying at a British superstore because the shelves are empty. There's nothing to buy, not much to eat. Restaurants have closed, pubs have closed, all eateries have been closed under the order. So the doctors, nurses, they don't have any place to go, and get hot food. They are only being served by the vending machines in the hospitals. I look at the newspaper and I just think, these people, doctors, nurses, the paramedics, are on the front line fighting the coronavirus. And we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the world. And they don't have anything to eat. Just imagine, the world's most crisis-ready country, just 2 months back, and the doctors, nurses serving for 14, 18, 20 hours a day, not having food to eat. I meet another friend who is a foodpreneur, and another friend who was the London School of Economics union president, Suleiman Raza and Bilal Saqib. So 3 of us sit down together and we think, all right, what can we do? We don't know what's going on. We don't know whether we can survive these times. We don't know whether we will be still alive in the next couple of months. And this is the situation. The doctors, nurses, paramedics, they don't have hot food. What can we do? Now, one thing about Pakistan is globally known that wherever we go, we ask for help. We ask for grants, we ask for loans, we ask for support. That's just, it has become a part of our DNA. So 3 of us, we asked ourselves this question. Even the British public, sometimes they believe that these Pakistanis are scroungers. They are here just to make money and utilize and abuse the resources. So what can we do? So for 3 hours, we sat down together and emerged one word that somehow we managed to coin, and I proposed 1 million meals. A dream was born. 3 of us with not much support, and we were not billionaires in pounds or millionaires in pounds. We thought, all right, let's serve the British doctors, nurses, paramedics all over the UK. Let's provide them hot food for free as a gift from Pakistan, the Pakistani diaspora. And a campaign was born, 1 million meals. In the next 72 hours, the 1 million meals campaign was launched, in which we managed to put first £10,000 to start funding the campaign. In the first 72 hours, we found an incredible supporter, David Beckham. David Beckham makes a personal announcement that 1 million meals campaign is the beacon of hope under these circumstances, and I am fully backing it up. In the next 72 hours, the word goes global, and that becomes just published by more than 500 newspapers, TV, any kind of imaginable media. Here we start the campaign, 3 of us, that actually flourishes to 1,000 volunteers in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. In the next 3 months, until the lockdown was finished, 1 million meals campaign managed to serve millions of meals to 206 hospitals all over the United Kingdom. Initiated by 3 British Pakistanis, we got more than 72 nationalities involved: Afro-Caribbeans, Turks, Arabs, Indians, Sri Lankans, Bengalis, Europeans. And this campaign went nationwide. We are Pakistanis. We did nothing special. This is who we are. This is what we would do whenever we see anyone around us in need. I bring to you this story at this incredible forum just to share. That's how we inspire. That's how we Pakistanis, who live globally, yes, There are stories, negative stories. There are lots of challenges to surmount. But there are stories to celebrate. There are stories to share. And I give you one. Thank you so much.
I've had the privilege of knowing Sehgal Sahab and Zarar in New York during my work as the Consul General of Pakistan, and their dedication and commitment to Pakistan and its causes has been critical and exemplary. Thank you so much, sir. I also acknowledge two of my colleagues, ambassadors who are here in the room, Ambassador Amir Shaukat and Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh. Thank you, both of you, for joining, and one of them will also be speaking to you later. Truly honored and humbled to be here as the ambassador of Pakistan to the Czech Republic and to have this wonderful opportunity to speak to you about the empowerment of women in our country. And I think no story about how inspirational and how inspiring Pakistan is would ever be complete without the inspirational stories of our female diplomats. Pakistan actually has a very long and cherished history of female diplomats, starting actually with our first, the wife of the first Prime Minister, Rana Liaquat Ali Khan, who served our country with a great distinction in several capitals of the world, and also as a delegate to the United Nations in the 1950s. She was a remarkable woman who left an indelible mark on our diplomacy and also became a beacon of hope and of possibilities for so many women in our country. I'm very happy and proud to share with you that the Foreign Service of Pakistan is an equal opportunity organization where you get equal pay for equal amount of work and equal opportunity to represent your country at the highest level, both abroad as well as in the at the headquarters in the Foreign Office. The Foreign Office stands out as a merit-based institution giving the fullest consideration to the performance and hard work of the individuals that work there without any gender bias. Pakistani female diplomats have been the beneficiaries of a level playing field while serving at the headquarters, as I said, and in our diplomatic missions abroad. Another very encouraging development that I want to share with you, in the recent years, our Foreign Office has seen a large intake of female officers. And we have now around 150 women diplomats. And currently, we have 5 ambassadors in Europe, including an all-women mission in Norway. While the increasing number of women joining the Foreign Office, I believe that our future is definitely female. I hope it would one day also lead us to have a more feminist perspective into policy decisions that impact, that have a global impact. I wish I could go on, but we have a very impressive list of panelists. Several people were waiting here to speak after me. Thank you so much again for listening to me so patiently. And thank you, Sehgal Sahab, again, for allowing me to present this story.
Pakistan has a lot of stories to tell. Actually, the stories that Pakistan can tell or that relate to Pakistan, they go way beyond, way before or they can be traced back to way before the independent existence of Pakistan. We started in 1947 with Karachi as our capital, but now we have Islamabad as our capital. And when Islamabad was being built as the new capital, we didn't know at that time that close to Islamabad, in the Swan Valley, remains of the oldest human civilization were found in the Swan Valley. The Paleolithic age remains, the Stone Age remains. So while the world may think that we have security challenges, we are in a difficult neighborhood, but please rest assured, we are the oldest people on earth and we are not going anywhere any sooner. There is a lot that inspires Pakistan. Ambassador Ayesha Ali has spoken about the Pakistani diplomacy. I am also a proud member of the Foreign Service of Pakistan. And if you just look at the 77 years history, almost 77 years now, history of the Foreign Service of Pakistan, given the geostrategic location that we have had, given the crisis that we have had, we have all along, if you come to think of it, punching beyond our weight in the diplomatic arena. Pakistan has done a lot, and I am a proud member of the Foreign Service of Pakistan, drawing inspiration from our seniors, legendary figures in the Pakistani Foreign Service, like Ambassador Agha Shahi, Ambassador Niaz-e-Naik, too many. I mean, coming down to even living legends like Ambassador Munir Ikram, who continues to be our permanent representative at the UN. For the first time, I distinctly remember when the Turkish Secretary General of the organization called me and said that you have the Geneva experience, you have served in the Human Rights Council, can you take on a challenge to establish this commission? And he immediately mentioned that, and he called it, I still remember those words, that I know that it is mission impossible. We may not be able to do it, but let's give it a good, fair try. Because it was so stipulated in the OIC's 10-year program of action, which of course had been signed on at the summit level by all the heads of state. But of course, as we understand that there was definitely resistance, for instance, within the Middle East, within the GCC region, because they thought perhaps that a Human Rights Commission would be kind of an incriminating body. But to convince them over a period of just 2.5 years that it wouldn't be incriminating in any way, it would be introspective, and it would be their best defense, is something that was really, really an impossible task. But we negotiated the statute with consensus. We kept the Office of the Human Rights Commissioner in Geneva on board throughout that exercise. What I told them, let me share privately with you, the gist was that, look, there's no problem with better part of OIC's membership. Pakistan, Turkey, Malaysia, we have laws, we have courts, there are human rights bodies. But you know, there are countries which perhaps are slightly skeptical of this kind of an establishment. And perhaps they may not view it positively until and unless they are encouraged. So you have two choices. When we are in the formative phase of this body, you can either encourage us all the way and basically encourage those countries to take that step, to take that leap, to take that plunge, or you can start criticizing us and they would scare them away further than they already are. And if you look at the period of 2009 to 2011, all the statements of the then High Commissioner for Human Rights for the UN, Madam Nathan Pillay, have a small paragraph encouraging the establishment of OIC's Independent Permanent Human Rights Commission in a most credible fashion. She kept her promise, the Human Rights Commission kept their promise, and they kept encouraging us all the way. But as soon as we are about to finalize the statute, there was this Arab Spring. So there is this country which is on the verge of takeoff. You will hear this theme resonate in other panels and other discussions during this World Economic Forum as well. But let me, as the marketing agent of Pakistan, as the serving diplomat of Pakistan, invite you, all of you, and those who you come across during this Davos season, please carry this message to them to profit from the promise of Pakistan. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a few years back, one of the English monthly Pakistani news magazine, for its International Day cover, International Women's Day cover, had a question on its cover. And the question was, will the real Pakistani woman please stand up? I bring to you this question today. Just like the country is beautifully, gloriously diverse and a little complicated, the Pakistani woman is also not homogeneous, and neither are the circumstances in which she finds herself. We have the good and the bad. We have the globally acclaimed names represented as the Pakistani women, Malala Yousafzai, Benazir Bhutto, Sharmeen Aboid Chinoy. But the Pakistani woman, even today, is part of a tragically high stat of 33% maternity mortality rate. Since we're talking about storytelling, allow me to indulge in a little bit of my own storytelling. I introduce to you a 20-some-year-old girl, Samina Sheikh, who comes from a rather underdeveloped part of the country, from a small city bordering the province borders Afghanistan. She is a media studies graduate, very, very passionate about storytelling and digital storytelling. But it was completely unfathomable that as a media studies graduate in a small, small city in the male-dominated media landscape, she would be able to work, she would be able to report. It was completely unfathomable. There was no other option for her life path but rather to sit at home and wait to get married. But Samina reminded herself and all of us that this is the world of the internet, what Ambassador Ayesha was saying about digital connectivity. So she founded a social media news platform by the name of Burqa Journalist. The name was because she, together with 5 other women, used to go out, in fact still go out, to the field, report very, very actively on all the beats while wearing a burqa. So the circumstances are not ideal, but this is what we do. We convert the circumstances into goals. The reality is what I and my fellow panelists have been telling you. The perception is very different. The perception is not enviable. So we need to be able to tell stories domestically and internationally in order to inspire, in order to talk about that woman who rebuilds society, talk about the burqa journalist, talk about the woman who has built a school in Mand, who has a Camel library in Sindh. These are the stories that we need to continue to speak about. Resilience is all okay, but let's ask ourselves, how far can we only run on resilience? We need institutionalized legal frameworks to prop that up, to catalyze it, and we need investment in entrepreneurial, innovative, out-of-the-box ideas, which the local population has in order to surge ahead, so that 20 years later, when we are again celebrating Ikram Sehgal Saab's ideas and the Pathfinder's resilience, we have even more beautiful stories to tell. Thank you so much.
For me, I think the important thing here is not so much our resilience, which I think clearly has been borne out. Ambassador Sheikh talked about, we're one of the oldest populations on the planet, and we aren't going anywhere in a hurry. I'm going to talk about opportunity, because I think it's often been said, and we have this joke on the Pakistan cricket team that never performs to its potential, that they have a lot of potential. Unfortunately, that potential never gets realized. But honestly, I think that is about to change. And the reason why I believe that's about to change is because of the industry that I'm in. Jazz is the largest connectivity and digital player in the country. And what we see today may not actually be visible to a lot of you and to a lot of people globally. We all know Pakistan is the 5th largest country in the world, 240 odd million. What we don't know is that we have the 4th largest number of freelancers in the world. So, and the reason for that is that 64% of our population is what we call digitally native. They have been born and grown up in an environment where digitalization comes to them naturally. So the digital savviness of future Pakistan is actually a game changer. And it's borne out by the industry that we see. We have the 10th largest number of internet users, and that's not a statistic we're proud of because we have the 5th largest population Pakistan can take to become a truly inspirational story out there. So thank you again, Sehgal Saab, and honestly the panel that you've chosen highlights some of the very various facets, the distinct facets of Pakistan. My congratulations again to KCFR and the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce for hosting us. And I think the main course is about to be served, so I'll say thank you and goodbye.
So while we are talking about inspiring Pakistan and talking about the people who have inspired Pakistan, we need to go back to the roots and talk how Pakistan ideology has inspired the world. Is there a country which was formed after a plebiscite or a vote? That's Pakistan. Is there a country that was advocated by a top-notch lawyer, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah? Pakistan was not formed by winning a war or somebody discovered a land. You know, it was the resilience of the people. So that ideology that, you know, we don't believe on caste system. There is nobody, there is no Brahman, there are no Shudras. And the world is talking about inclusivity now in 2023. We were talking about inclusivity when we were making Pakistan. That is the story of Pakistan. We were talking about equity, about social justice when we were making Pakistan. So that is the story of Pakistan, and that is so closer to my heart that wherever I have gone, I have worked in United Nations, World Bank, I have helped the countries. Last month, I have been working with the Zambian president, Tanzanian cabinet, Zimbabwe, Malawi, from the platform of World Bank. And I am narrating this story to everybody, that this is what Pakistan is. If you like me, if you are inspired of me, then it is the story of Pakistan. And that is the inspiration that brings me back to Pakistan always after some time. When there is an opportunity, I go back, I serve the country. I established Nadra in Jordan, Arab region, in Latin America, Peru, in Africa, Malawi, and so on and so forth, where there were other countries also. And then we linked it with social protection, financial inclusion, and this whole talk of inclusivity. The world learned from Pakistan. This is Pakistan's story. So anybody who will come up with an idea that is implementable, you know, I would just go along with them. When I became second-time chairman, you know, Ikram Sehgal Saab came to me. We sat and we have less than 5-minute discussion. He wanted to roll out a financial inclusion program, Asan mobile account program. So I understood, I said, yeah, we will do it. But he was worried that, yeah, Nadra will do back-end integration, but Tariq, who will tell State Bank of Pakistan, who will bring the banks on board? I said, no, I own this idea now. You gave it to me. So we started a competition among the banks. I went to PTA chairman, I went to State Bank of Pakistan, and I didn't rest, I didn't sleep till we implemented it. In 2 years, we have touched 10 million accounts. In just 2 years. And the credit goes to Sehgal Saab and his team. That is not all. the story. The story is that out of those 10 million, more than 40% accounts are poor women accounts. That is another story. So in last 2 years, we have created 45 other such stories. There would be a separate probably presentation which we can give it to you. But that story is about the people of Pakistan, because all these digital public goods and services touches the lives and the souls and the rights of every citizen of Pakistan. So I will end up, once again, I started with Quaid-e-Azam, and I will end with Quaid-e-Azam saying that there is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan. So if we have come out of all these crises, the crisis makes and the disaster make us stronger. You know, we learn, we make mistake, but we learn from mistake. So, with this prayer that Pakistan will prosper, inshallah, and we will make and narrate all these hidden secrets and hidden stories of Pakistan to rest of the world, so that while we are learning from them, they can learn from us as well. Thank you very much.
I am the Director General of Special Investment Facilitation Council, as has been highlighted in the introduction. This is the flagship initiative of the government, and this is a special initiative for the economic revival of the country. This is very unique in its composition. It has the civilian and military sitting on the table and trying to do a number of things, attract investment, improve the business environment and the ease of doing in Pakistan, steer privatization, a very tricky issue, and thereby contributing towards the economic revival of the country. Tomorrow afternoon, I have a very detailed briefing on the functioning and the concept of SIFC. So as far as this aspect is concerned, I'll stop here and I'll straight away switch over to the topic that has been given to me for today, which is Pakistan as a connecting hub. When we talk of a country as a connecting hub, this notion of connection is very wide and different interpretations could be taken. This could be from geopolitical connection to economic connection to societal connection, so on and so forth. But I, being the Director General of SIFC, will take a very direct and simple approach. We are talking about the physical connectivity of Pakistan with the regions adjoining towards east, north, west, and south. The territory which now constitutes Pakistan has been a connecting hub for centuries. Whether it was the east-west trade, whether it was access to Western China in the old ages, whether it was the notion of access to warm waters, Pakistan always had a significance in all these notions or efforts of connectivity. If we see it in a more recent way, Pakistan again as a connecting state, nobody can deny its significance. Pakistan is the only state which has the capacity to make China a two-ocean state. No other country can do this. An aspiring, growing economy on our east, if they want to optimize their terrestrial economic reach westwards to Central Asia, to Western Asia, it's only possible if it goes through Pakistan. We now have as priority in Pakistan is that give that opportunity to the businessman, enable him to come and invest in Pakistan, he'll make his own way. They do not want tax exemptions. They do not want us to provide the land. They do not want us to provide them cheap energy. They are ready to pay for everything, but they want the government machinery to enable them, to assist them in establishing a business, and that's what we are now trying to do at SIFC. While I said that I cannot tell stories, but let me try and craft a story. inspiring Pakistan. When you get into the details of the economy of Pakistan, the opportunities are immense. The kind of market that Pakistan provides, it's not available in many countries. And believe you me, the people who have done successful businesses in Pakistan, the kind of profit margins that they have had, it's unthinkable in some of the developed countries of the world. So, as Director General of SIFC, I take this opportunity to assure everybody that come and get in touch with us if you want to do business in Pakistan. I assure you that we'll give you a new experience. At least we'll find somebody within the government bureaucracy whom you don't have to push. They will push you to fast pace your decisions, and we ensure you that we'll undo for some of the bad experiences that some of the investors they had in the past. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
First of all, I will thank Haya for having done a good job in really conducting a very inspiring Pakistan lunch. Having said that, I want to congratulate each and every speaker here. Just before he left, and again, Michelle here, Malnari, who's been working with me for many years, he said that we've heard a lot of panels speaking. This is one of the best panels that we've heard. That is a tremendous accolade for you, every one of you. I would like to just say that I want to go back a little bit and how the name Pathfinder came. I was General Musharraf, as an SSG major, was commanding the Pathfinder team. I was his helicopter pilot. And we used to go and lay out the drop zone. The Pathfinder team used to go and lay out the drop zone, and the paratroops used to land. So one particular day, one particular night, and he used to sit right behind me. Because in the helicopter, Alert 3, you could hardly have a helmet on. And he would tap me on the shoulder when he was into the helicopter to take him away. And one day I left him behind. And then everybody started hitting me on the head from behind. Then I realized I had left the head of the Pathfinder team. And he was standing there like this. So anyway, I've said this story for a reason. Because the other day somebody came and told me asked me, he says, the Supreme Court has said that, he should be death sentence. I think a man dead. It's unthinkable that the Chief of Army Staff of the Pakistan Army should be treated in this manner. And I said so on television. I said, no, it's not acceptable. And I'll tell you why. There were two people in run for the Chief of Army Staff slot. Both of them were very good friends of mine. And one of them is still my best friend, General Ali Kuli. Yeah. General Musharraf won, Ali Kuli lost out. The first thing Ali said was, he is the Chief of Army Staff, all debate stops. He stopped. People went to him. He said, all debate stops. Right? So, that is the nature of the game. And that is why, when I first went to him, and I want to say this, because Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh talked about it. I first went to him and says, I want to take you to Davos. He said, "Phir tu mujhe mountain top pe chodaega." I said, "Nahi, come with me. It'll make it." And I was also not very sure. We went to the Lustenberger. There were a place for 150 people. 250 people turned up at the first breakfast. You could see the energy. And I tell you today, two people committed $100 million on the spot. Bill Gates for health and Jeff Bezos for education. $100 million spot. The money never utilized because of what General Tabassum has talked about. Bureaucratic, this thing, how do we take it, what happens, this, that and the other. So
I may not claim it, but I went to General Musharraf at that time and I told him, I said, you have to set up something which will cut through bureaucracy. Otherwise, you'll never get investment in. So he was almost on the verge of doing it, but by this time, democracy had come in, Shaukat Aziz nixed it, and we never had this thing. And therefore, when SIFC came in, and I was skeptical about it, I must be honest. But, you know, because when I left the army, I thought LC, letter of credit, was a girl. I said, what does the army officer know? Right. So my point was that, you know, I said, so I went to, I sent two people. One of them is here, Brigadier General Kiani, sitting somewhere, yeah, right, and another Colonel Adnan, both actually from General Rahil Sharif's course. And I sent them, and I said, I want to take SIFC to Davos. I have no this thing. I had some projects, and one of the architects of that project is sitting right here, Michel Molnari. We were talking about Karachi to Gwadar. He brought Karachi to Gwadar 8 years ago. He brought Karachi to, Taftan through another place about 8 years ago, right? We never got anywhere. We never got anywhere because before you knew it, the railways minister during Imran's cabinet sent his own man to him to get what are you doing with the Ikram Sehgal? You come along. The thing, of course, the man's integrity was he threw him out of the office. But the point is, we never got through anywhere, and it's not going to get through anywhere until SIFC comes in and takes those barriers away. In practice, you have to do that. You have to make sure, and there's a limitless. You know, you're talking about this thing, railway lines. Railway lines is what the American West opened up because of the railway lines, right? It was West, not that thing. So opportunity of a lifetime. So please, I think I wish you all the luck, and I'm very glad. One of my best friends, also Gulmina is also here. Father was 2FF. One of my best friends was 2FF. Yaqub Masood, went to Sandhurst, and I was on my way to Sandhurst when I was sidelined. I said, no, let him have the sword of honor here. So I didn't go there. I didn't get the sword of honor either. But that's besides the point. But the most proudest moment for me was by accident. And I would refer to the accident because a number of people have talked about the Qaid-e-Azam. I have brought a couple of people with me, singers, Qawwali singers. But I coached them on one thing. I said, the first time when my my term was passing out, I was not the battalion SU, but the battalion SU had a sore throat, so I was giving, as the right forward company commander, Khalid Company, I was giving the commands. So my proudest moment was saying, 1st Pakistan Battalion, Qaid-e-Azam zone, by the center, quick march. Right? That for me was the proudest moment. And the first time in the history of the Pakistan Army, Allahu Akbar was played. This was just after 65. So that, hopefully tomorrow, Morasani will not throw us out of the hotel, but we're going to have at least that people talk about Allahu Akbar. That is what inspires us. That is what really inspires us. And I'm grateful to everybody here. My son is sitting at the back, he's the chairman of the company. I take a lot of liberties with him as the co-chairman, but he is patient with me. And of course, I must commend my wife because she keeps on giving me cautionary steps at each stage, tells me, this is wrong, right? So that is why but of course it's not, no, but she does, she comes up with very constructive suggestions which have helped along with the result that today in the Davos community, perhaps she is better known than me, right? Because, you had, at one time, I can't even go into details, but there were a lot of people who were more friendly with her, like they're with my daughter-in-law today, Kashmala. Right? But again, Haya, well done. And of course, I must not forget my other daughter, Nefer, whose idea it was to start with the AMA idea was her idea. You know, she came and said, why are our guards do not have bank accounts? Why don't their wives don't have bank accounts? Let's do something like that. So when we started this, Nefer, that thing, etc. And I will end by giving you one of Nefer, you know, she's this thing, etc. The DG Rangers in Karachi was Major General, then later Lieutenant General Ijaz Chaudhry. And he rang me up and said, sir, I am sending your daughter under guard back to you. She was working for the Express Tribune at that time. I said, under guard? What has she done? She said, sir, she was taking photographs. Rangers were fighting with the MQM at the thing, a full-fledged battle going on, about 30, 40 people. And she decided that the best place to take the photograph from right in the middle. So she was in the middle, with her team taking photographs both sides. She says, sir, I'm sending her under guard back to you. So that's Nefer, right? And so thank you, Dr. Amjad Saqib, thank you, Arif Anis, thank you, General Tabassum, thank you, Mr. Tabassum, for coming, and Gulmina, thank you. I remember your father very well, Bilal, and of course, Tariq, you really, really contributed to our success. And of course, Amir is sitting there, the thing, etc. You know, I must just say here that the AMA scheme would not have been possible without Amir Ibrahim and Ali Naseer. They went against the entire telecom industry. They just went against that. And they said, we are actually going to lose money on this. But the fact of the matter remains, if you really believe in financial inclusion, if you really believe in women empowerment, we will do this. So thank you, Amir. And thank you, Ali. So that is, I think, in the end, we are having our 20th breakfast. We have been in Davos for 30 years. 31, actually. 1 year I came not being a member. 30 years, but 20th breakfast, this thing, etc. And then we have other engagements tomorrow, day after. And I hope they are as successful as today. And all of you will participate in some way or the other. Thank you very much. Thank you.